Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Philly Fan Radio. I'm your host, John Myer, along with Dan Palmieri, and we're going to recap the Giants with the Eagles and also the Bengals with the Eagles during this podcast because Dan and I, well, we suck. We slacked off and we just didn't get a chance to record. No, that's my fault. I actually was traveling last week and then who knows, whatever. All right, Dan, let's talk about it. And I'm going to ask the opening question since you presented it. Are we packing our bags to New Orleans?
It's close. Only 2 weeks ago was I yelling at you and yelling at the world that they suck, and this week they're finally lighting it up offensively and defensively. So, yeah, let's just say that the tickets are in my cart and I'm getting ready.
First of all, I'm not putting them in yet, even though, by the way, I said I predicted either 17-0 or 15-2. Well, we've got our 2 and we're on our streak. So one more of my predictions sucks. Let's talk about the Giants game. First of all, Saquon Barkley's return to the stadium, MetLife, right? MetLife is this, right? And he hasn't been there in a little bit. And obviously, it was a little bit of a friction, but most of all, it seemed like Saquon Barkley ran away with the game, literally.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was a fun game to watch. You knew that they were going to give him the ball, a little bit more to make sure that he made his point. And I kind of got comfort out of the entire game just thinking about what the owner for the Giants must be feeling. Because
he's not sleeping well at night.
Yeah, because of that whole Hard Knocks thing. You know that he was pissed off. You know it.
First of all, Saquon got 176 yards and a touchdown in this game. And to top it off, what was he, like 13 yards before his career high, all-time high? And I think it was really nostalgic to see the recap of Nick on the bench with him and Saquon. Let the young boys eat, right? So let them get in there.
Yeah, I think that Nick wanted him to go for it more than he wanted to go for it himself.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take that out of the coach and Saquon. Now, mind you, that the last time that Dan and I recorded, we were bashing Nick a little bit because he was bad-mouthing some of the fans, yet that didn't turn out to be the case, except for you saying, run the ball more. Yes, we ran the ball more. And guess what? Against the Giants, we ran. It was like they couldn't stop us. I mean, well, Saquon at least, whatever it is. But if you think about it now, even Hurts only had, what do you have, 114 yards. He only passed it or tried to 14 times in the game. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and there wasn't that many situations where, I mean, he got sacked a lot. He did.
It was a sack game. Like, I think we got 5. He got sacked 5 times. Jones,
we got
4
8,
or 5?
I believe.
Or
8 or
is
9.
it?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he got sacked a lot, which kind of changed the game plan, I'd imagine. But he started to go under center more, and that looked pretty good. And then we're actually utilizing our backup linebacker as a fullback, so that was pretty cool to see. It was definitely it was different, but we've been saying for weeks. I mean, pretty much everybody's been saying that this team should be a run-first team and just start imposing their will on other teams, and that's exactly what they did finally.
We've been waiting for this time. Now, still, granted, I never go into any of the conference games, division games, a little bit thinking that we're just going to run all over them, regardless of what their win-loss columns show, because it's always a tough game to go against. Here's what I thought about the game. I think Bryce Huff got his first sack or in the game, and he got fined $12,000 for it, too.
Yeah, for the low hit, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
so
ridiculous.
You paid all that money for the guy, and that went right back to the NFL for the sack. And speaking of that, also didn't Saquon got fined like $42,000 in that game too?
Yeah, lowering his head to initiate contact.
Yeah, lowering it.
Stupid.
What is this? The Pussy FL? I mean, come on now, people. They're supposed to be doing something. I understand that you're trying to protect the players in the long-term injury, but I just saw a clip, highlight reel of, when it was like beat down and kind of going, this was only a couple of years ago, $42,000. What are you guys doing with this money? I'm really curious. What is it going into? Maintenance fees?
Jerry Jones's wallet so he could keep crying.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Don't worry, we don't have to get onto the Dallas subject because they're already hurting enough. Now let's talk about it a little bit more. A.J. Brown, 89 yards, 5 receptions, 1 touchdown. it was amazing just to see these. On the flip side of that, the Giants, obviously, Daniel Jones tried 21 attempts for 99 yards. He didn't even break the 100-yard thing. Tracy got 23 yards, 6 carries on the Giants side. Not too
That
bad. An average of like 3.8 a carry.
seems like they're missing Saquon.
Oh,
Just throwing that out there.
but I mean, literally 23 yards. Saquon, 1,776 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was just waiting for him to break free all those times. Now, Neighbors did come back. He was in concussion protocol. He
Yeah.
had 4 for 41. Not bad. He
Mm-hmm.
had a couple of those good catches all around.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player. He looked pretty good. He still has a case of the drops, but he's
That's all right. He
young.
can have those.
Yeah, he can. He's on the other team. But the
Yeah.
fact is that he has nobody throwing to him. I mean, Daniel Jones is garbage. So he's not going to produce until he actually gets a legit NFL quarterback to throw to him.
Yeah, their game this past Sunday. Yep. So anyway, let's talk about a little bit more on the defensive side. I gotta tell you, I mean, obviously, I wished Hurts didn't get sacked so many times, but having like 8 on Jones was amazing to see getting in there. Defense looked good. Is this a case that the Giants just suck and we looked good against a sucky team, or do you think we're actually getting a little bit better in defense and offense to actually produce something this year?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I think that the offensive line for the Giants is absolute trash. It is. But at the same time, we kind of discussed it with the Cleveland game, and it's gotten more and more frequent. We're actually seeing the corners getting up on the receivers a little bit. And what that does is you're playing press or even, 5-yard cushion, whatever. You're you're forcing the quarterback to hold the ball a little bit longer because he doesn't have that open slant that's always, within 10 yards. So it's creating a little bit more of a hold of the ball and they're able to get home a little bit quicker. So I think it's a mixture of things. Plus, we're finally getting some good play out of the line. Now, whether or not that's, Vic Fangio changed up the scheme or, the players are actually evolving, it's to be seen. We still got a lot of weeks here, but I think it's a mixture of both, definitely.
Well, the change up on the lines, Malata isn't in there. Hamstring. You
Yeah.
got Goddard, who also he seems to be having a little bit more of like the injury prone as well. Slay did get hurt in the game, but he was back for the Bengals, and for the Bengals, Malata and Goddard weren't in there, so we actually had Stoll, Calcaterra, but Slay was back. Before we actually transitioned over to talking more about the Bengals game, Dan, kind of running through, and I want to run through a couple of the stats and what it looked like from the game of the Giants itself. Now, so far, the Eagles have won the coin toss on both games.
Hmm.
Giants, Bengals, we seem to be doing pretty good and going for the second half. And in fact, they're doing great, ending the half and getting the second half.
Right.
It looked something like this in the first quarter, 0-0. Dan, I know we're going to talk about it. I'm going to mention it now. How many games are we going to go before we actually score a point in the first quarter?
Yeah, it's a crazy stat. I mean, we'll go into what happened at the Bengals game, which I think they kind of turned a little bit of a corner, but I mean, it's just crazy. You wouldn't even think of like a stat being so obscure, but yeah, they know they got to start faster. But like I said, we'll go into it more in the Bengals, but I think they finally found a formula that maybe will help them with that.
Yep. So the series looked like Giants punt, Eagles punt, Giants punt, Eagles punt, Giants punt, Eagles punt. This is still like the first quarter going in. Well, what are we first? Yeah, 5 minutes left. No, we hit the second quarter. Eagles punt, Giants punt. Oh, there we go. Eagles touchdown. Then Giants punt. Oh, another one. And then an Eagles touchdown, all in the second quarter. Now the Giants punt, Eagles punt, and so the Giants did get a field goal in the second quarter, right around the minute and 36 seconds, and the Eagles had one play, 1 yard, end of the half. Going into, let's see, where are we at? Second quarter, end of game. So second quarter, we had Eagles punt, punt. Oh, Eagles touchdown. Giants punt. Eagles touchdown. Man, this is really nice hearing all these touchdowns going back. So in reality, the end score was 28-3. I mean, the Giants really got to be missing Saquon.
Yeah, and it could have been more. I mean, it was 28-3, and I believe they put in Kenny Pickett towards the end. And you know
They
that they were
did.
just running the ball.
Even
Daniel
Daniel
was
Jones
getting the
got
fingers.
benched.
It's about a few seasons late for the Giants fans, but yeah, he got benched.
Uh, to be all serious, I mean, to see them pull him out, knowing that they're not going to, I mean, to be honest, you don't think they were like a 28-3, like 2 touchdowns and they're back in the game or whatever it is. They
Mm.
kind of things, but they just did not look good. The Giants definitely didn't look good. Dan, before we transition over to Bengals, what are your feelings on defense for the Eagles for the Giants game?
Oh, I thought the defense was stellar. I mean, I think that was their best game since they played against the Saints. They it is you got to curve it a little bit because it is the Giants, but like you kind of
Graded on
said,
the curve.
yeah, well, like you said, it is a divisional game, so it can swing pretty quickly. But I was really impressed with the defensive line. They finally came to play. We've got to see finally Jalen Carter take over a game. He did when it was with New Orleans, but it's been inconsistent. So it's just a matter of keeping that consistency. And I think that the sky's the limit, but it's definitely trending in the right direction for sure.
I agree with you. Now let's switch over to the latest game against the Bengals. Eagles won 37-17. And obviously, before I get into some of the stats, we just talked about it. No score in the first quarter for the Eagles. But the
Hmm.
Bengals did get their touchdown. They looked like they were going to go. The Bengals offense actually looked really good to go down the
Yeah.
field, clicking every 10 yards, 10 yards. They were what they go like 70 yards in the first drive itself, which was, and now we were kind of doing the same thing. We were actually going down. And Dan, I know you wanted to mention it right at the near the end of that first quarter. They almost scored.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to get a look at it because of the fact that they did allow like a 10-plus minute drive to the Bengals to start the game.
Mm-hmm.
But they responded pretty quickly. I believe they got a field goal on their first drive, so I'm going to take that as the first quarter score. just,
It was
just
only a
because,
few seconds into the
yeah,
second quarter
exactly.
that it happened. So
Yeah, but yeah, it seems like they finally realized, shocking. Let's run the ball. They were getting 5, 6 yards a carry on first down. So in the past, we've said, why not run the ball again? Because your pass twice is incomplete and you're punting. Well, imagine this. They ran the ball on second down and set themselves up for a 3rd and 1, or they got the first down. I mean, you got a running back that's averaging over 5 yards a clip. Keep giving him the ball.
exactly, keep feeding him the ball. Now Saquon had 22 carries, 108 yards. Now let me tell you
Hmm.
what, when I saw Saquon doing and he was getting 5 to 7 yards a clip every time he touched it, why not keep doing it? I mean, yeah, there were some times, and I don't agree with some of the going up the gut most of the time where I swear he wasn't getting anywhere. It was like right on the
Right,
line, maybe a yard,
right.
nothing. But if you keep doing it, eventually, obviously, it's going to break free. And the offense line's going to start clicking. They had to move some people around. There's some growing pains around with it. But to see Saquon do his thing and including his little tap toe dance around the sideline was amazing. Now, it
Hmm.
disappointed he didn't get the touchdown, but he
Hmm.
did hurdle someone.
Yeah, hurdled and pretty much trucked somebody. So
Yeah.
it, I think we're going back to it. We've got to see him for what, 7 games now as a Philadelphia Eagle. Uh, I feel, and it's just my opinion, I don't know if you feel the same. I feel like he's the best running back we've seen in this franchise history. Now, obviously, there's a lot to go back with Wilbert Montgomery. We're talking like you know, some old school people, but I can't imagine anybody looking better than Saquon Barkley has. Other than Derrick Henry this year, Saquon's got to be in the talk for Offensive Player of the Year.
I think it was in talk for already at the second game of the season where he's supposed to be
Mhm.
an offensive player of the year. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 20. He had 236 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, those were the passing yards. What do you have? Two rushing touchdowns on top of that or something?
Three of them. Three.
Three rushing touchdown. It's amazing to see this. And the team, like, if you think about it, your QB's running in there, and typically it's like everybody's like, oh, the QB's a showboat, but he likes to spread the ball. He likes to give it out, but he
Mm-hmm.
knows that he needs to win. He wants to win for everybody doing it. And the team is really receptive to just win. I mean, when Saquon tapped down the sideline, who took it in then? It was on the side. It was Hurts,
Yeah.
right? Because I was upset because I wanted Saquon to get that touchdown, but at the
Yeah.
same time, for me, a win is a win.
Yeah, as long as the ego doesn't kick in, and
Yep.
then and that was one of the things I actually looked for on the touchdown was how did Saquon look? You know, did he look like pissed off? He was actually in the end zone, like chanting and throwing his hands up in the air. So it's really a good. We talk about all the time, you know, with kind of alluding to Sirianni. You know, what is a good coach? Good coach holds a team together. He inspires and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Well, we've criticized him for it hasn't looked that way, but since the bye, I can tell you that the team has looked this way. The team looks together. They look on the same page. They look like they're actually having fun out there.
I
It looks like a
literally wrote
completely
that
different
down.
team.
Fun. That's
Yeah,
exactly the way they
yeah, it's what
looked
it
like.
is.
They looked like little kids having a lot of fun out there
Hmm.
and enjoying the game.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, we got offensive talent all over the place, and you just sit back, you get relaxed a little bit, and you just have a good time. I mean, in the Giants game, Devontae Smith, one catch, -2 yards. Did you hear him go to the media and get pissed off?
Nope.
Did you see him starting shit or getting snippy with reporters? Hell no, because he knows that his time is going to come. And what does he do? He catches a 40-yard bomb. And and that's kind of what we heard from Saquon, and we kind of heard it at the beginning of the year was like, there's going to be these games when it's just not going to be working and it'll be another guy that has to step up. Well,
Nope.
that's the way this is. As long as we don't have any, I'm going to say TO personalities on the team, it's going to work.
You
It
want to do
really
some
is.
push-ups in the driveway?
Yeah, as long as you're not in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, doing push-ups in your driveway, then you're
Yep.
fine. And I think that's where this team is at right now. And they're playing together. They're playing as one, and it's fun. It finally is fun, and we're seeing the effort, and that's what we want to see. I was ask me like 2 games ago if we were going to fire Nick Sirianni, and I was like on the fence. I didn't think they were in mid-season, but I was like, he's on the hot seat, and right now, I mean, he's doing a hell of a job coaching. He really is. I don't care if he doesn't call the plays or not. He brought this team together. Him and Jalen Hurts finally seemed to have squashed whatever the hell was going on there, and it's just a fun team to watch again. And I hope it stays. I really do. But it's fun.
You know what cures it all? Winning. As long as
Ah,
you're winning
well,
and you're
yeah.
winning good, they're the
Hmm.
thing. Now, I do think that if Sirianni would have lost the Giants and the Bengals game, everybody
Yeah.
would have been calling for his head. A little bit more on the team stats. Overall, the Eagles had 397 yards to the Bengals 280. While 280 doesn't seem like much when you watch the game, it looked like the Bengals were going up and down the field, but in
Hmm.
most cases they had the turnovers. They had two turnovers in the game.
One
Um,
interception, one fumble.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, one fumble, the interception was awesome. The little tap pass
Hmm.
backwards
Hmm.
for it. First downs, 24 first downs against 18, which is amazing because we typically didn't have first downs. It was our biggest thing of going 3-and-out. Time of possession went from 31-48 for the Eagles, 28-12 for the Bengals, which is kind of even if you think about it.
Hmm.
That's just like 2 extra plays. The biggest thing that I'm going to take away from this is it seems like Jalen's passing was the connection with his teammates was much better.
Yeah.
There was a one throw for Devontae, like literally at the line, took too long. I mean, I was shouting at the TV. I'm like, dude, I saw
Oh,
that from
yeah.
my couch. I could have blocked it then. Those
Hmm.
things that took too long. And he is the quarterback who holds the ball the longest. but he knows he can get away with it. And in some cases, we don't like that as Eagles fans because one, he gets
Hmm.
sacked, or two, but he had no sacks. He didn't get sacked at all this game, right?
Yeah, no sacks, and it was the line did a really great job. Especially with Fred Johnson starting at
Fred
left
Johnson, yep,
tackle and Tyler Steen was starting at right guard. I mean, name another team that has two of their starters go down and they still uh, they I saw a stat that said Fred Johnson no pressures allowed. Tyler Steen hasn't allowed a pressure all season when he's come in for Mekhi Becton. So
yep.
it's really a credit to Stoutland and that staff for sure.
Well, what did you think about when Lane Johnson got hurt during that game? He was grabbing
God,
his leg.
no. He got rolled up on, and when he went down, I said, "Oh shit, this is
Yep,
not good." Because, I we could say, Fred Johnson's doing a great job, Tyler Steen's doing a great job. Lane Johnson is irreplaceable. He really
yep,
is. I mean, that's a guy you never ever have to chip on that right side. Never. He can block anybody. He can block Micah Parsons one on one and make him look
yep.
foolish. It's just he's such a weapon to have, and thank God he was okay. But yeah, I was a little concerned at first on that one. Not gonna lie.
Well, speaking of injuries, Slay got injured during the game again, and
What a
Isaiah
goddamn
Rogers,
shame.
Isaiah Rogers came in, and I saw your note, and you were like, "Am I the only one for Rogers?" No, I watched him versus, and I have to tell you that I think he should start over him. I think
Hmm.
Slay had, there were a number of ones that Slay should have blocked, should have been there. Too much soft coverage, not pressing enough, got bumped on the route. Whatever you look at it, has he reached his prime? I think he's more the sub than the actual starter, and I think he
Yeah,
gets injured, and he's had his injuries. I think Roger, I'm right there with you. Rogers should be the guy.
yeah. I just it's an eye test for me. And it's not just this past game. It's been a few games now. We've seen Rogers go in there. He's faster. He he gets to the ball. He's got good instincts. He's able to flip around pretty good. To see the ball, and it's just like you said, Slay. It just seems like Slay is slow. He's not instinctual right now. He's not getting to the ball quickly, and it's just it's disappointing, but at the same time, I swear, as a fan, if I see Slay let up another catch and he gets up smiling, I'm gonna slap the shit out of him, and that's the end of it. Because I'm so sick and tired of that I'm smiling shit. It's like watching the old school Jalen Mills let up a 40-yard pass, and then the next play, the guy drops it. Jalen Mills had nothing to do with, and he's signaling incompletion.
No,
It's
he's going like this. He's like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's what
just
he's doing.
pisses
Slade
me
does that.
off.
Slade does that all the time where he'll make a mistake on a 40-yard pass and then he'll break up a 10-yard one or whatever it is. And he's like, all cocky. Dude, you let up
It's
more than you actually stopped.
yeah, it's just or posts his stats, his career
Yep.
stats on Twitter.
Oh, he apologized for that. He said,
I
y'all
just
fans got to me.
yeah. No, I come back to big play Slay. When's the last time he made a big play?
Yep.
So never. I mean, the damn guy hasn't made a big play in forever, and I'm getting sick of it. But the fact is that we can sit up here and we can complain all we want. He ain't getting benched. He's
No.
captain on the team. He'll never be benched as long as he's healthy. He's going to play, and it's a shame. But it is what it is. At least he's not too big of a liability out there. But again, I think Isaiah Rogers is the better player at this point.
Well, the Eagles actually, the defense won the turnover battle in this game because we
Hmm.
actually got, there was the fumble, the interception. We finally got some turnover, and we haven't had anything all game, all season yet.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think of how little they create turnovers. So it was good to see that. Hopefully, that creates a trend. They always say that turnovers and sacks come in bunches. So hopefully this starts a trend because I really don't know how the hell they haven't created more turnovers. But it's good to think about the fact that they haven't been creating turnovers and setting the offense up in prime position, and yet they're still scoring all these points. So that's a positive. So it's good to see. The defense is definitely, they played better than what I anticipated them playing at this point in the season for sure. At least the last few
Well,
games.
definitely, and we've got some great people on it. Zach Bond, he was all over the place in this game. You saw him everywhere, getting
Mm-hmm.
some open field tackles, running in, like he literally, I swear, stuff in every hole. Like, you turn around, 53's on wherever it is, he's there. He's on the ball.
Yeah, yeah. They need to. I'm clamoring for them to extend him right now. They need, because he's
Yep.
on like a 1 year, like $2 million contract, because he never was a starter. The guy is a pure starter in this league.
Yep.
He's a hell of a player, and
He's
I
earned
just,
it.
oh yeah, absolutely he has, and I would not let him hit free agency. Never.
No, I would claim already. The other one that you want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about is the rookie Quinwan Mitchell. That guy is going
Mm-hmm.
1-on-1 with starters, and he is just amazing. I mean, they got an absolute steal with him.
Oh, absolutely. The concerns were that he was from, I think, TCU, which is the WAC or the MAC, whatever the hell conference it is. It's like Division One, but not stiff competition. He is a hell of a player.
Yep.
He's able to twist the hips and find the ball. It just, he needs to take some catching courses, because the damn guy should have had like 10 interceptions already this year. But
He
he's a
will get
hell of a
his.
player.
He will get his time, but I'll tell
Yeah,
you
yeah.
what, you can keep him in there. You can keep Rogers in there. That was nice to do. The other person, Sidney Brown, is back with the Eagles. He's back. He was in the
Mm-hmm.
game. He actually wasn't in the same time of his twin brother, who was on the Bengals, Chase Brown, who's a running
Mm-hmm.
back. And we talked about Browns of 12 carries, 32 yards. What did he get? Three and two and one touchdown. But
Yeah.
it wasn't the first time. It's the first time in a long time that twins were on the team facing each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Because you
think they
had Tiki
said
Barber was, I think, the last time, Tiki and Rondé.
the Griffins, Shaquille
Oh yeah, no,
Griffin.
yeah, from Seattle, and
Yes,
they
yes,
were.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
were the Griffins facing each other, or they were on the same team? They were on.
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're actually right. Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
said the last time that a brother tackled a brother was Tiki and Rondé.
yeah, exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
to see them on there, and you can tell, obviously, Giants and what was the Bucks for.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, so they're already. But anyway, it was nice to see them on there, and I'll tell you a little thing I heard about that. I guess what it was, Sydney wasn't going. The brothers weren't going to talk any shop during the week and
Hmm.
at all about the game. In fact, they weren't going to talk to each other at all. But well, obviously they broke that a little bit. And what really happened was Sydney went out and bought a Bengal cat.
I didn't hear that.
uh,
That's funny. That is
yeah,
funny.
I think that was pretty cool that they bought a Bengal cat, and that's awesome.
That is funny. A Bengal cat. But yeah, I think, just to put a ribbon on the whole rookie thing, another thing, Cooper DeJean. I mean, is it coincidental that since the bye, our defense has looked so much better since Cooper DeJean has been starting in the nickel other than Avonte Maddox?
Yes, it,
I mean, there's a lot of things that have gone
Vic
into the
Fangio is doing
defenses.
awesome these last two
Mm-hmm.
games. Yes, I am so glad.
Yeah, I mean, DeJean looks like a bona fide starter in this league. I mean,
Yep.
that play that he made on Chase on that 4th and 1, where Chase went in motion and went like 20 different directions, and DeJean stayed with him. I mean, that's a veteran play that he made, and he
Yep.
made it flawlessly. I mean, he's a hell of a player.
I agree with you. Now, Dan, let's talk a little bit more about the NFC and what it's looking like. First of all, the Lions, are they legit? Like, are we going to see them in
Mm,
the Super Bowl?
they are legit. They are legit contenders. They
We're
have,
not going to see them there because the Eagles will be there, right?
well, yeah, yeah. No, I'm thinking NFC Championship.
Yeah,
They
we'll
are,
see that at home at the link. They
yeah,
just need
yeah.
to win a couple more because right now the
Mm,
Lions' record's better.
yeah, the Lions are legit. They have I mean, their defense is a little suspect, kind of like ours, where um, their defense is good. You know, it's on average, but I think our defense might be a little bit better at this point. But their offense, you know, they do have playmakers at all three tiers. They really do. I don't think that they have St. Brown and they have Jameson Williams, but they don't have an AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And I think Saquon is better than Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery, but I mean, they have playmakers at all three levels. So that would be, I think that if the Eagles can stay the course and look as good as they have, that'll be a hell of a matchup because I think they're very evenly matched. Everyone else in the NFC, I think the Vikings have fallen off.
Well, what about
Dallas is a
Washington?
joke.
I mean, come on, Hail Mary.
Washington, yeah, you know,
that
I have a hard time taking them as a contender because I look at their offense; they really don't have that much firepower. But
no.
yeah, the whole Hail Mary thing, you know, you should have
I
lost.
don't want to say anybody could have
lost to
done
the
it. I mean, the
Bears.
last person to do that was like Rodgers. I don't want to say the Hail Mary, right? So that was a game-winning thing. Does that really make them a contender? I think that just hypes them up and keeps them like energized for the next game.
Yeah, I think we're gonna know. We're gonna know flat out whether or not they're contenders in it's what like 2 or 3 weeks when
Yeah,
they come
Thursday
to the
night,
link.
November 14th.
Yeah, when they come to the link and have to play us, that's when we're going to find out because you look at the division, the Giants are done. Dallas is an embarrassment, which is fantastic. And so it's just us and Washington at this point. And that's a potential division winner right there. So I think it's going to be a good matchup, but not to look too far ahead. But I just want to emphasize the fact for everyone out there that Dallas is a joke. And
Whoa,
it is
wait a
so
second.
good.
Did they beat the Browns like 40, 57 or whatever? And that was like their biggest game. Elliott has the worst yardage of his entire career. Can't run everything. They just they look horrible. It's awesome.
So everybody online was, you know, so quick to bash, you know, Jalen Hurts, you know, oh, he's a turnover machine. He can't stop throwing interceptions. Who leads the league in interceptions right now? Dak Prescott. He sucks. He can't stop turning the ball over. And you know what? It just hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to see all those bad things happening to the Cowboys, I tell you. It's a shame. It's a goddamn shame.
I can tell you're really upset. Dan, before we talk about the upcoming game against the Jags real quick, why don't you go over some of the stats combined for the last 2 weeks? Let's talk about our offense, defense, and then even Jalen Hurts passer rating.
Yeah, so I had some stats pull up here. Give me 1 second.
Well, while you're pulling up this, I'll talk about Jalen's passer because Jalen's stuff is really cool to kind of do. And then you can jump on the offense, defense. Jalen, for the combined of the two games, 26 for 34. So 34 attempts, 76%, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns with 5 rushing touchdowns. Now, which is freaking awesome because he's 2 passing with 5 rushing. Holy shit, man. This guy's a touchdown machine with a 125.9 passer rating. And no turnovers.
Yeah,
just saying that.
No turnovers.
You just talked about Dak being the number one, and Jalen was, but now he's been passed by not America's team.
America's team. America's laughing stock. It's America's commode, it has become down there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so live air is great because the computer locked up, but we're good. We're good now. We're good.
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Yeah, so the offense for the last 2 weeks, 65 points, 736 yards, 376 of that passing, 430 of that rushing. Those are fantastic stats.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you look at the defense, 20 points, 399 yards total, 265 passing, and 134 rushing. That is a differential of 45 points and a differential of 337 total yards. and +2 in the turnover category. I mean, that is a complete 180 of what they were doing earlier in the season. They were still winning, but I mean, that's a complete 180. The team is really coming together. Whether or not they could sustain it, time will tell, but definitely impressive stuff there.
Well, when you said they're still winning, and last year we won 10-0, we were still winning with some crappy ass numbers and barely even winning that
Mm-hmm.
shit. And then we just choked on the last couple of games. Here we're 5-2, and the last two games after the bye week has really shown and proven that the Eagles are starting to come together. Kellen Moore, I'll never say his name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think he's finally, like, this last game, watching him with the Bengals and Jalen, and kind of getting a feel for things and where it should go and what play calling to do. I still want a little bit more of a kind of trick plays, I guess, a little more gadget things, but they take too
Mm-hmm.
long to develop with Jalen's kind of style, and I guess that maybe that might not be why he's doing it. But Vic Fangio defense is looking awesome.
Yeah, and there were a lot of criticisms came with Jalen were that he didn't throw over the middle of the field, and we saw him thread the needle on some beautiful passes in the middle of the field. And he never has been an under center quarterback. And everyone's always said, oh, it's because Jalen doesn't like to do it. Well, maybe he just was never asked to do it. I mean,
Yep.
he was under center for 21 plays, which is the most in his career this past Sunday. I mean, he's looked good. The play calling has been good. And the one thing that I hear on all the national media has been, well, the Eagles are winning. They're a run first team. I can tell you with the way the offense has looked, I feel comfortable saying that if we are stuffed at the run, I still think that we can be a team that goes back and passes the ball 30, 35 times and still win the game. We have the
Yep.
people to do that. And now, as the confidence grows, whether or not you're running the ball or passing the ball, I think that we can lean on the pass more heavily to be there because I think it's all about confidence. And I think the play calling has been better. I think we seem to forget that the Buccaneers game we basically had nobody out there. AJ Brown was injured after week 1, so I think that was that the third or the fourth game that we actually had both Devontae and AJ
Third.
Brown in. Third game
Oh, that we had him in or out.
that we had both of them in. The first game, the Browns
First
game,
game,
yeah, then the
this
last two.
yeah, they were out the last two games, which was very yeah.
Yeah, and is it ironic that they are 4-0 in those games? I mean, it's a
Well,
great
you've got Calcaterra who came in. You had Goddard for one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
games. You leaned on some more of your receivers, even though you couldn't go completely down the field in some of those aspects. You have Saquon for running it. So I,
Mhm.
I think we have the weapons.
Yeah, and I'm really going to give you credit for Calcaterra. I mean, I gave you credit before, but I think that Calcaterra's play has made it so that we don't need to extend Dallas Goddard's contract. Dallas Goddard is a fantastic player, but at the price that he may demand and his injury history, I don't think that we need him. Calcaterra's played fantastic.
I think Goddard is great after the pass, so the catch
Hmm.
after, and where he's aggressive and gets the yards. Now he's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years,
Right.
while Calcaterra hasn't had as many plays. I think his are more of those catch and run, and he's not going to force or bully his way down. In which case, I do like Goddard for it. But I think we've got a good one. I know Stoll got injured real quick in the game, but he was back because
Hmm.
then we'd be down to a single tight end.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I was saying at that is, I don't think that it becomes a necessity that you go out there and spend top dollar on a tight end
Yeah.
because I think you got
I think you
Calcaterra.
evaluate it.
Yeah, it's not one of those you have to make the sudden decision. I mean, you can use that money elsewhere. I'm not
Yep.
saying that Goddard's crap and you don't sign him, you just ignore him. But I think that what I'm trying to emphasize here is that Calcaterra has played really well, and I think he has played well enough to say that he could be a quality starter.
I agree. Now, the two last things I want to talk about before the Jags thing, and I know I always say this, and I literally just thought about it. What was the deal with the shoes, man? I mean, I understand you got them knotted down, but it was funny just to see they took a timeout. They still couldn't get the shoelace. There's Goddard chewing on the shoelace to get it untied from the knot. And then Jalen goes out with a different shoe, did he get the points then? No, because then he had to come back out for,
he
or
threw
was
a
it?
he threw a slant to AJ, which was short of the line. But I
That's
think
what
they
it
ended
was.
up getting
So,
a field goal or something like that.
yep. Then the field goal team came out. I think the offensive lineman had it last night on Monday Night Football. Somebody had a shoe issue right in there. They got the shoe horn out. I mean, I have never seen that actually. In all my time, I've never seen them have such issues for it. I know they tie them freaking tight to get on there, but geez.
Are you channeling your inner Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction?
Yeah, right. So I'm going to avoid going further on that topic. Let me talk about one last person on the Eagles, and I was rooting for this guy, Will Shipley. He gets out there, he runs in for a touchdown. The guy's heart's got to be racing, celebrating, and of course, 10-yard penalty,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like he got it again, but got stuffed at the line. I feel really bad for the dude because I want to see him a little more. I think he's got potential. That's why they kept him. They have Gainwell. Shipley's going to be in there, so they got a three-headed monster if they can just use him a little more. But why use him? Obviously, if you got Saquon,
Yeah.
but if you're up just like this, throw him in for it. I mean, Gainwell's awesome as a relief guy, but
yeah, I think Shipley will be a good player in this league for sure. I think he'll be one of those, used sparingly. I mean, like you said, who gives a crap what the running back 2 is doing when you got a running back 1 that's just trucking people out there?
yep.
But yeah, I like Shipley.
Something else I just thought of that just popped in my head of being tired and all that. What the deal was with the Indy quarterback? I can't remember the rookie. I was just tired. I needed a break. It took himself out of the game.
You know what's hilarious? As right before we went on the air, I got it on my phone. He's benched. They're starting Joe Flacco now. He got benched.
Probably for that. That's not hard. Dude,
among other things.
Wait,
yeah.
I gotta say,
yeah, he was tired, so he had to take a series off or whatever. I've never heard that by.
I've never
heard that by really anybody, but by your franchise quarterback, yeah, he's done. He has to catch his breath. He
Anthony
can catch his
Richardson. That's who it was.
Yeah. No, he's done. Yeah. That one move pretty much solidified the fact that he is no longer going to be the quarterback for that team.
I just right here, benching also comes after Richardson admitted to subbing out of the game. I was tired.
Why would you ever admit that?
Dude, you go in and you call a running play so you can catch your breath. I mean, fucking.
Why would you ever on national media admit, yeah, I was a little tired? How is that supposed to inspire your team to play for you and play hard when you're
this guy
franchise quarterback?
All right. Anyway, let's.
It was a close game. It was a close game. It's not like it was 40-0. It was a close game, and you
pulled yourself out. That's.
Hey, coach, my toe hurts. I want to go out.
Hey, coach, I got a hangnail. Pull me out. All right. So let's talk about this Sunday. We've got the Eagles and the Jags down at the Link. It was an 8 p.m. 20 game. It was flexed to 4:05, which is great for me. I mean, I'm happy that it's earlier. That means not a late night getting home 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Eagles look to be. It's going to be freaking awesome game. Is this a Kelly Green game?
This is the first Kelly Green game of the year.
Yeah. I saw all the posts on it. I was like, oh my God, I got to go break out all my stuff. And what are you looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, just improve consistency. Prove to me and to everybody else that, you are the team that showed up the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
I don't
But
think
it's the Jags. Should you be worried?
Yeah, well, don't.
Dougie's coming.
It's Dougie P reunion night. But again, the Jags actually might be without their top 3 wide receivers. So I don't think the Eagles are good enough to the point where you could say, oh, this is a trap game.
Yeah.
I don't think they should ever be thinking about a trap game, but
Nope.
I think what they logically should do is they should go in there, start fast, blow the shit out of them, and we should see Kenny picket gloves out there in the fourth quarter, just basically handing the ball off. See some Shipley action.
There you go. I like that. What are we resting our starters already?
Yeah. Jalen is he's out of breath. His shoelaces got tied too tight, so he had to go out a series.
He had to go out a full quarter or half. However it goes. All right, Dan, what's your prediction for this game?
I actually think it's going to be a blowout. I think you're looking at I'll give the Jags 13, but I also think the Eagles are going to put up 35. And it's only going to be just 35 because of the fact that they're going to sit the starters in the fourth.
Wow, we're really close. Mine's going to be 35-10. Yeah.
I was going to be a little nice. I was going to get Dougie that extra 3.
Yeah, I think they're just going to get a touchdown in the first quarter, and then you're not going to see them until in the third. Actually, they might have more points coming closer to it because when we rest our starters. But in reality, I think we're close on that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to score more against our backups because of the fact that they're pretty much going to be trotting, the life support unit out there on wide receiver. That was the other thing. That was the other thing I have to share with you. I don't know if you saw this on ESPN, but they said Dallas did not lose against the 49ers. Dallas lost against the San Francisco triage unit. That is a great line.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, they're definitely, they're way past life support there in Dallas. So yeah, and Jerry Jones looks like he's on it daily.
Yeah, he needs to take his heart pressure medication, and it's past his bedtime.
Wait, I'm gonna keep the rest of it off the air. I won't share what it's way past. All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up this Philly Fan Radio. I'm your host, John Myer, along with Dan Palmieri, and guess what? You don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notify because guess what, Dan?
We're out of here.